The courtroom was thick with tension, so heavy you could practically feel it pressing down on your chest. Every single seat was filled, all eyes locked on the man at the center of it all. Sergeant Nathan Carter, a former soldier, now in a wheelchair, his uniform sharp and neat, the medals on his chest catching the light like silent witnesses to a life of sacrifice. By his side, Thor, his German shepherd, calm yet watchful, a faithful companion who had been through it all. Nathan's hands trembled slightly as they gripped the leash, his connection to Thor more than just a symbol. It was a bond forged in the fire of war, the kind that runs deeper than words. This wasn't just a courtroom. This was Nathan's battle for the one being who had always been there for him. As Nathan turns toward the judge, the weight of his words hits the room like a tidal wave. His voice, raw and unsteady, pleads with the judge to please not take Thor away. He talks about the countless times Thor saved his life, pulling him from danger, shielding him from gunfire, and even warning him of traps before he could see them. Thor's not just a military asset, Nathan says, his eyes burning with emotion. He's family. As he speaks, the courtroom falls into an almost painful silence. Some in the audience dab their eyes, while others exchange glances filled with sympathy. The tension is unbearable, but Nathan's words are undeniable. You can feel the bond between man and dog, so powerful it seems to transcend the room. This isn't just a soldier asking for his partner back. This is a man asking for his lifeline, his savior, his family. And the judge? He listens, carefully. The decision is about to be made, but what happens next? Well, that's where everything changes. Just as Nathan's voice cracks with emotion, pleading with the judge for one final chance to keep Thor by his side, something happens that no one saw coming. Without warning, Thor, Nathan's steadfast companion, stands up. The leash slips from Nathan's trembling hands as the dog pulls toward the judge's bench. His barks are sharp, loud, and insistent, echoing through the silent courtroom like an alarm bell. The entire room gasps in shock. Murmurs ripple through the crowd, eyes wide in confusion. Thor's actions aren't typical of a military dog on command. These aren't playful or casual barks. There's urgency in every sound he makes. The bailiff steps forward, hand twitching near his sidearm, but he doesn't move aggressively. Thor's barks aren't threatening, but they are loud, insistent, as if the dog is trying to tell everyone something urgent. Nathan's heart skips a beat as he watches Thor, now pacing in front of the judge, his eyes locked on something unseen. His voice, shaky but firm, cuts through the growing murmur. He's not just barking. He only does this when there's danger. Something's wrong. Thor can sense it. He's trying to warn us. The room freezes. The judge's gavel is forgotten, held loosely in his hand as his eyes lock on Thor. The sudden shift in the atmosphere is almost tangible. What began as a moment of emotional pleading turns into something far more chilling. The air grows heavy with dread, and the once sympathetic faces in the crowd now reflect a creeping unease. Even the bailiffs hesitate, unsure how to react to a dog who has always been their ally, but now seems to be on edge, alerting them to something they can't see. The room is on edge. Nathan knows Thor is no ordinary dog. This is Thor's warning. And whatever danger Thor senses, it's much closer than anyone realizes. Thor's growls deepen, vibrating through the courtroom like a warning signal that no one can ignore. His barks grow more urgent, more insistent. As the bailiffs move cautiously toward the door, something in the room shifts. The energy, once filled with uncertainty, is now thick with tension. Nathan can feel it in his bones. This isn't just a dog acting up. Something is wrong. Thor isn't just reacting to noise or people. He's locked onto something, his eyes fixed on the dark hallway beyond the courtroom doors. And whatever it is, Thor knows it's coming closer. Nathan, now fully aware that the danger is real, doesn't hesitate. His voice cracks through the growing tension. This is not just a dog barking. Thor only acts like this when there's real danger, when there's something we can't see, something we need to prepare for. His words cut through the room, but they don't stop the growing unease. The audience shifts uncomfortably in their seats. The murmurs turn to whispers. Everyone can feel it. The atmosphere is heavy, electric with anticipation. And Thor, he knows what's coming. Just as the judge begins to furrow his brow in concern, the lights above flicker, casting a sudden, unsettling shadow over the room. The tension rises another notch as the metallic clang of something unseen echoes from the hallway. Thor reacts instantly, barking furiously, straining against his leash, every muscle in his body taut with the urgency of his warning. The crowd starts to shift uneasily, panic creeping in. The larger bailiff steps forward, cautiously gripping the door handle, his eyes wary. He opens the door slowly, half expecting to find something that makes sense, something ordinary, but instead, there's nothing. A breathless moment of silence. But then, a sound breaks the stillness. A deliberate footstep, slow and heavy, echoing through the air. The room freezes. Something or someone is out there. The entire courtroom holds its breath. Thor's barking is relentless, as if he's trying to force them all to hear the danger that none of them can see. The bailiff's hand tightens on his weapon, eyes scanning the dark hallway just beyond the door. Everyone's on edge. What's out there? And more importantly, what comes next? Just as the bailiffs move deeper into the hallway, something shifts in the shadows. A figure steps forward, calm, deliberate, and chillingly menacing. His face is hidden beneath the shadow of a hood, his movements smooth, almost calculated. The flashlight beams reveal nothing more than a dark silhouette, but the air around him crackles with an ominous presence. The crowd holds its collective breath, every person on edge. Thor, sensing the danger, reacts immediately. His growls intensify, deep and guttural, his body coiled like a spring, ready to strike. The courtroom is tense, and you can feel it in your chest. The dog's primal instinct is undeniable. Something is wrong, and Thor is prepared to face it. Nathan, though paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair, refuses to show fear. He is resolute. His gaze never leaves the stranger, his grip on Thor's leash firm. No one will take Thor from him. Not today. Not ever. The figure doesn't rush. He steps forward with a purpose, his voice finally breaking the silence. "I don't want to hurt anyone," he says, his tone smooth, almost disarmingly calm. But as he continues, the true purpose behind his words becomes clear. Thor, the dog who had saved Nathan's life over and over again, is the true object of his attention. Nathan, not one to back down, demands answers. "Who are you?" he asks, voice tight with both confusion and fury. "What do you want with Thor?" The stranger's response drips with menace, his words slicing through the tension. "You think this is just about the dog, but it's much bigger than that. You'll see soon enough." The threat is palpable. The stranger's calm, controlled demeanor makes the room feel like it's closing in, and the bailiffs, though trained for danger, are visibly uneasy. Their hands hover near their weapons, uncertain of how to handle someone who remains so composed in the face of such fear. The tension reaches a fever pitch as the realization sinks in. This is no ordinary threat. The courtroom is a pressure cooker, and Thor knows it. His growls continue, deepening as the unknown danger inches closer. It's clear to everyone now. This isn't about Thor. It's something bigger. But what? The stranger takes a deliberate step forward, and the room holds its breath. He raises a small metallic key in his hand, a simple object, but the weight of it is enough to make everyone freeze. The moment is chilling, and the tension in the air is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Thor's barking explodes into a frenzy, each bark more urgent than the last, his body straining against Nathan's grip. Nathan's heart races. He knows whatever comes next could mean the difference between life and death. The stranger's smirk is unsettling, calm and confident, as though he's in control of every second of this terrifying confrontation. The bailiffs hesitate, unsure whether to act, their hands twitching near their weapons but unsure if they're facing a physical threat or something far darker. The stranger casually reveals what Nathan had feared all along. Thor's special abilities make him much more valuable than any dog on a mission. Thor isn't just a companion. He's a key player in something far more dangerous than just a military assignment. Nathan's realization hits him like a punch to the gut. Thor's worth isn't just about his loyalty or bravery. He's part of something bigger, something that threatens everyone in this room. And then, with a calm that sends chills down your spine, the stranger turns the key in his hand. The courtroom is immediately plunged into complete darkness. A terrifying moment of total silence. The air crackles with anticipation, the room holding its breath. When the lights flicker back on, it's no longer just the stranger standing there. Two more figures have appeared, emerging from the shadows, their faces obscured, weapons gripped tightly in their hands. The entire courtroom is frozen in shock, the danger now imminent. The bailiffs, now fully aware of the threat, draw their guns, but the room is already in chaos. Thor's barking reaches a fever pitch, louder than ever, his instincts now fully unleashed. Nathan feels the weight of the situation bearing down on him, and the tension is palpable. Everything is about to explode. With a final, ominous remark, the stranger steps back. His words are chilling. This isn't over. We'll be back for him. And just like that, he turns and walks out of the courtroom, his companions following in tow, leaving the room stunned and in shock. The judge, visibly shaken, tries to regain control, his voice trembling as he adjourns the court. But the fear is far from gone. The room is still heavy with the unspoken question. What happens next? Nathan, still gripping Thor's leash tightly, knows this battle isn't over. The real fight has only just begun, and whatever danger is out there, it's coming for them. And Thor? He's not just a dog. He's a protector, a survivor, and together, they'll face whatever comes next because they always do. As the courtroom empties, the silence is deafening. The chaos has settled, but the tension in the air is still thick, lingering like a storm that hasn't fully passed. Nathan remains behind, alone except for his loyal companion, Thor. The courtroom that had just moments ago been filled with fear and uncertainty now seems almost peaceful, yet the weight of what just happened hangs heavily in the air. Nathan looks down at Thor, his voice barely a whisper as he speaks words of gratitude. You saved my life again, buddy. The dog, calm now, sits by his side, ever watchful. Thor has been with him through the darkest moments of his life, and Nathan knows that whatever comes next, they will face it together. Though the immediate threat has been pushed back, Nathan feels it deep within his bones. This encounter was only the beginning of something far more dangerous. The stranger's words, the ominous tone of his promise, still echo in Nathan's mind. But for now, Nathan allows himself a brief moment of peace, his hand gently resting on Thor's head. As the door to the courtroom slowly closes behind him, Nathan leans back in his wheelchair, breathing in deeply. The battle may be far from over, but as long as he and Thor stand together, there is no challenge they won't face. And for Nathan, that's the one thing he can always count on, the unbreakable bond between him and his dog. Together, they'll be ready for whatever comes next. If you enjoyed this heartfelt story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing tales. Your support keeps us going.